Ambassador Taeho Kim rubbed his tired eyes. The bright lights of the Galactic Council chamber hurt after 12 hours of talks. For the third time today, the alien representatives had dismissed his ideas with clicks, whistles, and what he now recognized as laughter. "The human proposal lacks proper safety measures," said Councillor Vith, his blue skin shimmering as he waved a six-fingered hand. "Humanity has been part of galactic society for barely 15 years. You cannot expect us to trust your creative approaches." Taeho straightened his back. Earth had joined the Galactic Council, hoping to find friends among the stars. Instead, they found a web of rules, slow decisions, and older species who treated humans like children. "Counselors, the void blight has already spread to 17 systems," Taeho said, pointing to the glowing map in the center of the room. "Our solution could stop it in months, not years." The void blight was a space-borne disease that ate through ship hulls and space station walls. It had started in the outer systems, but it was spreading fast. General Mu, a tall insect-like alien, clicked her mandibles. "The human plan involves explosives near a star. This is exactly the reckless behavior we feared when Earth joined us." Taeho's team sat behind him. Dr. Soo-Jin Han, Earth's best xenobiologist, shook her head. Captain Do-Hyun Lee, their tactical expert, stared at the ceiling. Engineer Su-Mai Choi was sketching something on her tablet, ignoring the aliens completely. "Our calculations show the risk is small," Taeho said. "We can create a controlled solar flare that will kill the blight at its source. The star system is uninhabited." "Unacceptable," said Councillor Zim, his eye stalks wobbling. "The Council's plan will contain the blight in 300 years, with only a 20% chance of it spreading further." Taeho blinked. 300 years. Half the affected planets won't survive that long. "They are mostly frontier worlds," said Councillor Vith. "Regrettable losses, but acceptable in the grand scale of galactic safety." Taeho looked at the faces around him. These aliens had lived for thousands of years. Their species measured time in centuries, not decades. They couldn't understand the human need for quick action. "What about the people living there now?" asked Taeho. "They will be evacuated. Eventually," said General Mu, "when proper protocols are established." Soo-Jin leaned forward and whispered in Taeho's ear. "They're never going to listen. It's been 3 months of this." Taeho nodded slightly. Earth had sent its best people, brought new ideas, and tried to follow all the proper channels. And still, the Council treated them like they were stupid or dangerous. Maybe both. "Very well," Taeho said, gathering his notes. "The Earth delegation withdraws its proposal." The Council chamber filled with relieved sighs and the soft hum of translator devices. "A wise decision, Ambassador," said Councillor Vith. "In time, humans will learn our ways." Taeho stood up, his team rising behind him. "We'll return to our embassy to consider the Council's timeline." As they walked toward the exit, Councillor Zim called out, "Perhaps in a century or two, humans will understand why patience is better than your risky shortcuts." Taeho stopped at the door. He turned slowly, his face calm but his eyes cold. "Fine," he said quietly. "I'll handle it myself." The chamber went silent. The older council members looked at each other in alarm. Several reached for emergency communication devices. "What did he say?" asked a younger counselor. "The human said he will handle it," whispered Councillor Vith, his blue skin turning pale. General Mu stood quickly. "Lockdown protocols. Now." As alarms began to sound through the station, Taeho and his team walked calmly down the hallway, the sounds of panic growing behind them. "Did I say something wrong?" Taeho asked his team with a small smile. "No, sir," said Do-Hyun. "You just said what every human has been thinking." "And that's what scares them," added Soo-Jin. 5 years earlier, Jaewon Park floated in the maintenance shaft of Harmony Station, the first joint human-alien space station. Sweat dripped up his forehead in the zero gravity. forming tiny floating bubbles around his head. "Engineer Park, please follow the approved procedure," came the voice of Station Administrator Lore through his earpiece. "The cooling system must be repaired according to Council safety standards." Jai-1 sighed. "Administrator, the standard procedure will take 3 days. The living quarters will reach dangerous temperatures in 6 hours. The procedure exists for a reason," Lore replied. His species, the Trill, had been in space for over 2,000 years. They treated humans like children playing with dangerous toys. "I can fix it in 2 hours if you let me try my way," Jai-1 said. "Denied. Council procedures must be followed." Jai-1 looked at the broken cooling pipe. The special parts needed for the approved repair were on a supply ship 3 days away. But he could see 5 different ways to fix it with materials already on the station. For 4 hours, Jai-1 tried to explain his ideas to Lore and the other alien administrators. They dismissed each suggestion as too dangerous or not tested enough. Meanwhile, the temperature in the living areas rose. Children were being moved to the emergency shelters. Elderly station members were showing signs of heat stress. "The situation is becoming urgent," reported Medical Officer Kita, a tall, 4-armed alien. "We need that cooling system working within the next 2 hours." Administrator Lore's voice was calm. "We understand the urgency, but safety protocols cannot be ignored. We will begin emergency evacuation procedures." Jai-1 closed his eyes. An evacuation would cost millions and force 300 people to leave their homes for weeks. "Fine," he said quietly. "I'll handle it myself." The aliens in the control room looked at each other, confused by his tone. Jai-1 floated quickly through the station to the kitchen area. He grabbed several food preservation bags, strong adhesive, and a container of kitchen nanobots used for cleaning stubborn food residue. 20 minutes later, he was back at the broken cooling pipe. He worked quickly, using the food bags to create a temporary pipe section, sealing it with the adhesive, and programming the kitchen nanobots to reinforce the seal and maintain it until proper parts arrived. Cold air began flowing through the station again. In the control room, the alien administrators stared at the temperature readings in disbelief. "How did he do that?" asked Kita. "Those materials should not work together." Administrator Lore's face showed concern rather than relief. He used food storage materials and cleaning nanobots to repair a critical system. "This violates 17 different safety protocols." "But it worked," said Kita. "The temperatures are returning to normal." "This time," said Lore. "What about next time when his creative solution causes a disaster?" When Jai-1 returned to the control room, he expected thanks. Instead, he faced a formal review board. "Engineer Park," said Administrator Lore, "you deliberately ignored direct orders and used unauthorized materials to repair a critical system." Jai-1 stood straight. "I prevented an evacuation and kept everyone safe." "That is not the point," said Lore. "The point is that you said you would handle it yourself and then took dangerous, unpredictable action." Word of the incident spread quickly through diplomatic channels. The report focused not on Jai-1's success, but on the phrase he had used and what followed. In the months after, other humans on other stations used the same words when frustrated by alien bureaucracy. Each time, the results were effective but unexpected. A pattern emerged in alien reports. 1. Humans become frustrated with standard procedures. 2. Humans say, "Fine, I'll handle it." 3. Chaos follows, often with successful but alarming results. 5 years later, those words had become famous and feared throughout the galaxy. 17 systems now show void blight contamination, said Dr. Su Jin Han, pointing to the glowing red dots on the map. At this rate, it will reach major populated systems within 6 months. Tahoe and his team had gathered in the secure room of Earth's embassy after leaving the council meeting. The walls were specially built to block any listening devices. Here, they could speak freely. "The council's plan is no plan at all," said Captain Do-Hyun Lee, his military training showing in his straight posture. They're willing to sacrifice frontier worlds because those planets mostly belong to newer species. Sumi Choi, their engineer, looked up from her tablet. Most of those planets have human colonies too. The Council knows this. Taiho nodded. The Council's 300-year containment plan would sacrifice millions of human lives. The older alien species could wait centuries. Humans couldn't. Tell me about the Blight again, Taiho said to Sujin. Sujin pulled up images on the main screen. The Void Blight looked like black mold with tiny purple spots. But it wasn't a normal mold. It was a space organism that could survive in vacuum and eat through metal and plastic. It reproduces in the radiation field of red dwarf stars, she explained. The Nox 5 system has perfect conditions for it. That's why we believe it started there. And that's why our plan targets that system. Show me the plan again, said Taiho. Sumi took over the screen. We modify mining explosives to create a special kind of solar flare. The flare produces radiation that kills the Blight without harming the star. The risk is small, added Du Hyun. We've run the numbers 100 times. Taiho walked to the window. Outside, he could see the massive council station. Right now, they were probably still arguing about his words. Fine, I'll handle it myself. He hadn't planned to say it. The words just came out after months of frustration. But now that he had said it, a new path opened before him. The council won't help us, he said finally. So we need to decide. Do we follow their rules and watch our colonies die? Or do we act? The room was quiet. Each team member knew what he was really asking. Breaking council rules could mean Earth would be punished. They might lose their place in galactic society. My cousin lives on Horizon Colony, said Sumi softly. In the Eridani system, the Blight will reach them in less than a year. Do Hyun nodded. My brother's family is on Terra Nova. They're in the path too. Sujin pulled up another image. I've been working on something. A biological agent that targets only the Blight. Combined with Sumi's solar flare idea, we could wipe out 90% of the Blight in one operation. Taiho turned to face his team. If we do this, we're risking everything. Our careers, Earth's standing in the galaxy. If we don't do this, we're sacrificing millions of lives, said Du Hyun. I know my choice. Alarms began to sound throughout the embassy. On the screens, they could see Council security forces gathering outside. They're taking your words very seriously, said Sujin with a small smile. The whole station is going into lockdown. Taiho made his decision. Sumi, can you access a ship? She nodded. There's an automated freighter in Bay 12. I can override its controls. Du Hyun, we'll need weapons and supplies. Already packed, the captain said. I started gathering things after the second failed council meeting. Sujin, how soon can your biological agent be ready? She checked her notes. 3 days if I work nonstop. Taiho looked at each of them. Last chance to back out. What we're planning will change Earth's relationship with the galaxy forever. No one moved. Then let's save our people, said Taiho. And maybe the rest of the galaxy too, whether they want our help or not. Council Security Chief Milak reviewed the file labeled Human Intervention Events on his screen. The Council had ordered him to study past incidents before deciding how to respond to Ambassador Taiho's threat. Computer, show me the first major incident after Engineer Park's cooling system repair, Milak said. The screen changed to show a human man with broad shoulders and short black hair. Yang Ho Kang, trade representative, Centauri shipping route, the computer said. 3 years ago, the Regulian pirates attacked 6 cargo ships in 1 month. Milak watched the recording. Representative Kang stood before the Sector Security Council. We need armed escorts for our ships, Kang said on the screen. Denied, said the sector chief. Arming trade routes could start a war. We will increase patrols next year. Next year. The pirates will take 50 more ships by then. This is the proper procedure. We have used it for 800 years. Kang's face grew dark. Fine. I'll handle it myself. The recording jumped to 3 days later. Kang's personal ship approached the pirate base, broadcasting on all channels. My name is Yang Ho Kang. I challenge your leader to single combat. If I win, you leave this sector forever. If you win, I give you the coordinates of every Earth ship for the next year. The pirates accepted. Their leader was 3 times Kang's size with armored skin. Milak winced as he watched the fight. The human used no weapons. Instead, he used the pirate's weight against him, applying pressure to joints and using fighting techniques the pirates had never seen. In less than 5 minutes, the pirate leader surrendered. The pirates kept their word and left the sector. Computer, next incident, Milak said. The screen showed a human woman in a medical uniform. Dr. Min Ji-yoon, Quarantine Station 7, Orion Sector, the computer said. The station was infested with Tark parasites. Standard procedure called for abandoning the station. Dr. Yoon argued with the station's alien director. There are 50 patients who can't be moved, and this station cost billions to build. The parasites cannot be removed without risking the station's systems, said the director. We follow procedure. Dr. Yoon's eyes narrowed. Fine. I'll handle it myself. The recording showed her sealing off sections of the station. She reprogrammed the airlocks, created a special chamber, and then caused a controlled explosive decompression in the infested areas. The parasites were sucked into space. Not a single patient was harmed, and the station was saved. Computer, one more, Milak said. A human man in a military uniform appeared. Colonel Hyun Moo Ba, Defense Force, Tav City Colony, the computer said. The colony was under attack by the Hreska hive. The Hreska were insect-like creatures that shared a group mind. They had surrounded the colony and were breaking through defenses. We need to disrupt their communication, Colonel Bai told the colony council. I believe their hive mind uses electromagnetic signals similar to our radio waves. Impossible to know for sure, said the alien advisor. We should evacuate while we can. There's no time, said Ba. Fine. I'll handle it. Ba connected the colony's communication system to his personal music device. He played what the file described as heavy metal music, at maximum volume on frequencies used by the hive. The Hreska forces fell into confusion, their coordination broken. The colony's defenders drove them back easily. Milak turned off his screen. Each incident followed the same pattern, a human faced with alien bureaucracy or inaction. The famous phrase, then an unpredictable but effective solution that broke many rules. Now Ambassador Taeho had said those same words about the Void Blight. Milak pressed the emergency alert button. All Council security forces on full alert, he said. Find the human delegation immediately. But he already knew it was too late. 3 days after disappearing from the Council station, Taeho's team returned unexpectedly. They walked into the main council chamber during an emergency meeting about the Void Blight. Ambassador Kim, said Councillor Vith, his blue skin darkening with surprise. Where have you been? Security forces have been searching everywhere for you. Taeho smiled. We've been working. And now we're ready to share our solution. Sumai stepped forward with a small device. She placed it in the center of the chamber. A hologram appeared, showing star systems affected by the blight. The Void Blight spreads from the Nox 5 system, she said. That's where we must strike. Su Jin joined her. I've created a biological agent that targets only the blight. It breaks down the organism at the molecular level. And I've designed a delivery system, added Sumai, modified mining explosives that will create a controlled solar flare. The flare will carry the biological agent throughout the system. General Mu stood up, her insect-like body tense. You want to set off explosives near a star. This is exactly the reckless behavior we feared. It's not reckless, said Du-hyun calmly. We've calculated everything carefully. The star will be fine. The blight will be destroyed. No one will be harmed. Counselor Zim's eye stalks trembled. This plan violates 37 safety protocols. It could cause a stellar catastrophe. Tai-ho stepped to the center of the room. Counselors, we didn't come to ask permission. We came to inform you of our plan as a courtesy. The operation begins in 12 hours. The council chamber erupted in shouts and cries. You cannot do this, yelled Counselor Vith. The council has not approved this action. We tried to work within your system, said Tai-ho. For months, we presented data, suggested solutions, and followed your procedures. And what did the council decide? To let the blight spread for 300 years while millions die. He looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each council member. Earth will not accept this. The frontier colonies will not accept this. We are going to solve this problem now, not in 3 centuries. This is a violation of council authority, said General Mu. Your species could be expelled from galactic society. Su Jin stepped forward. We've prepared a full report on our plan. The science is sound. The risks are minimal. We're doing what the council should have done months ago. Su Mai handed data chips to each council member. Everything is explained here. The biological agent, the modified explosives, the calculated effects on the star. Read it if you want to understand what we're doing. Counselor Zim scanned the data quickly with a small device. His eye stalks straightened in surprise. These calculations, they're much more detailed than I expected. We're not reckless, said Du-hyun. We're just faster than you're comfortable with. Tai-ho nodded to his team. They began walking toward the exit. Wait, called Counselor Vith. The council has not authorized this mission. If you proceed, we will be forced to stop you. Tai-ho paused at the door. We tried to do this properly. Fine, we'll handle it ourselves. As soon as the words left his mouth, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. A computerized voice announced, Warning, human intervention imminent. All stations initiate lockdown protocols. This is not a drill. The council members stared at each other in shock. Did you activate that alert? Counselor Vith asked General Mu. No, she replied. It's automatic. The system recognized the human phrase and initiated the galaxy-wide alert. Galaxy-wide? Asked a younger counselor. You mean every council station, every member world, every ship with council communications, said General Mu grimly. They all just received the warning that humans are about to handle something. Outside the chamber, Tai-ho and his team walked calmly toward their ship, ignoring the chaos around them. Across the galaxy, the alert human intervention imminent spread faster than light through the quantum communication network. Species that had dealt with humans before knew what it meant. Those who hadn't soon learned. On the resort world of Pilax 4, vacation spots emptied as visitors rushed to their ships. On the trading hub Mercantile Station, all weapons were locked down and extra security posted. In the ancient library world of Toth, rare books were moved to underground vaults. Why is everyone panicking? Asked a young Palaxian, watching ships leave the planet. Humans are about to handle something, explained his elder. Last time that happened near here, they redirected an asteroid by detonating fusion bombs. They saved a colony, yes, but the debris damaged 3 orbital stations. Aboard the medical station Healing Light, Director Fenn ordered all non-emergency patients moved to the center sections. The humans mentioned explosives in a star, she told her staff. We don't know what will happen, but the outer sections are most vulnerable. While the galaxy prepared for the unknown, Tai-ho and his team boarded their ship, a standard cargo freighter now heavily modified. They're not trying to stop us, said Du-hyun, checking the security screens as they approached the hangar. There are guards, but they're keeping their distance. They've learned, said Su Jin. If they try to block us, we might get more creative. Su Mai laughed as she prepared the ship for launch. I heard one guard say, let them leave. If we try to stop them, They might use the station itself for their plan. Tai-ho shook his head. They think we're reckless, but everything we've planned is carefully calculated. Inside the ship's cargo hold, special containers held Su-jin's biological agent. The modified mining explosives were secured in a separate section. Su-mai had turned the simple freighter into a precision instrument for their solar operation. "Launch clearance granted," said Su-mai with surprise. "They're letting us go." The ship lifted smoothly from the hangar and moved away from the council station. "They're following us, though," said Do-hyun, pointing to the scanner. 6 council enforcement vessels at a safe distance. "They won't interfere unless we deviate from our filed flight plan," said Tai-ho. "Right now, we're headed exactly where we said we would go. The HFY system." The ship accelerated to light speed, the stars blurring around them. The council ships followed, maintaining their distance. "Time to HFY?" asked Tai-ho. 8 hours, replied Su-mai. Just enough time to make final adjustments to the delivery system. In the council station they had left behind, an emergency session continued. "We should stop them by force," argued General Mu. "Their plan is too dangerous." Councillor Zim waved a data chip. "I've reviewed their calculations. There's something you should know." "It doesn't matter," interrupted Councillor Vith. "The principle is what matters. If we allow humans to ignore council authority once, they will do it again and again. I've dispatched 6 vessels to monitor them," said General Mu. "If necessary, they will destroy the human ship before they can deploy their explosives." A young aide rushed into the chamber. "Councillors, we're receiving reports from all affected systems. The colonies are celebrating. They're calling the humans heroes for taking action." "Of course they are," said Councillor Vith bitterly. "The frontier worlds don't understand the importance of proper procedures." "Perhaps," said Councillor Zim quietly, "it is we who don't understand the importance of timely action." Back on the human ship, Tai-ho watched his team prepare for their mission. Su-mai calibrated the explosive devices with careful precision. Su-jin checked her biological agent's containment system. Do-hyun plotted their exact approach vector to the star. "Do you think we'll be allowed to return to Earth after this?" asked Su-jin. "I don't know," admitted Tai-ho. "But I do know we couldn't live with ourselves if we did nothing while millions died." 6 hours to target," announced Su-mai. "And the council ships are still following us." "Let them watch," said Do-hyun. "Maybe they'll learn something." The red dwarf star of HFY glowed dimly ahead of them. Around it, the scanner showed clouds of the void blight, like dark smoke in space. This was where it all began, and where Tai-ho's team planned to end it. "The council ships are moving to block our approach," said Do-hyun, watching the tactical display. The 6 enforcement vessels had formed a line between their ship and the star. A communication signal flashed. Su-mai opened the channel. "Human vessel," came the voice of Commander Lith of the Council forces. "You are ordered to stop your approach. The Council has voted. Your mission is not approved." Tai-ho took a deep breath and pressed the response button. "Commander, we've provided all our data. Our plan will work. Please move your ships." "I have orders to stop you by any means necessary," replied Commander Lith. "If you continue, we will open fire." The human team looked at each other. They had prepared for this possibility, but had hoped it wouldn't happen. "Do we turn back?" asked Su-jin quietly. "No," said Tai-ho. "Too many lives depend on us." Do-hyun, show them why they should reconsider." Do-hyun nodded and took control of the ship. His years of tactical training were about to prove valuable in a way he had never expected, not fighting enemies, but convincing allies to step aside. "Hold tight," he said, pushing the engines to full power. The ship shot forward, then spun in a complex pattern that no normal freighter should have been able to perform. Su-mai's modifications had given it fighter-like agility. Do-hyun guided it in a series of tight maneuvers, approaching the council ships at high speed. Commander Lith's voice came again, higher with tension. "Human vessel, what are you doing?" Do-hyun brought their ship to a sudden stop, positioning it perfectly. On the tactical display, the situation was clear. If the Council ships fired at them now, the explosives would detonate. The resulting blast would be magnified by their position relative to the star's magnetic field. Instead of a controlled solar flare, there would be a massive stellar eruption. "Commander," said Tae-ho calmly, "your sensors can see our position. If you attack us, the explosion will be catastrophic. Not just for us, but for your ships too. And the flare would be uncontrolled. It might spread the blight instead of destroying it." There was a long silence. "This is madness," said Commander Lith finally. "You would risk your own lives to save millions." "Yes," replied Tae-ho. "But we don't want to die, and we don't want to harm your ships. Let us complete our mission as planned. Our calculations are sound. The risk is minimal if we do this our way." Another silence followed, longer this time. The human team waited, tense but determined. "Council ships are moving," said Do-hyun suddenly. "They're backing away." Commander Lith's voice returned. "We will observe from a safe distance. But know this, if your plan fails, humanity will bear the consequences." "Fair enough," said Tae-ho. "Thank you, Commander." With the path clear, Soo-mei guided their ship to the precise position they had calculated. Soo-jin prepared the biological agent, and Do-hyun armed the modified explosives. "Everyone ready?" asked Tae-ho. "This is our one chance." They nodded. Months of planning, calculations, and preparation had led to this moment. "Releasing biological agent," said Soo-jin, pressing a sequence of buttons. Through the viewport, they could see a fine mist spreading into space, invisible except where it caught the light of the star. "Agent dispersed," she confirmed. "Now for the delivery system." "Explosives in position," said Do-hyun. "Ready on your mark." Tae-ho looked at each team member one last time. "For Earth, for the colonies, and for a galaxy that won't wait 300 years for a solution. Activate." Soo-mei pressed the final button. Explosive devices activated. Impact in 3, 2, 1. The flash was brilliant even through the ship's filtered viewport. The stars seemed to ripple. Then a beautiful wave of energy spread outward, a precisely controlled solar flare carrying Soo-jin's agent directly into the clouds of void blight. 3 weeks after the Nox 5 operation, Tae-ho and his team stood before the full Galactic Council. The chamber was packed with representatives from all member species, more than had attended any meeting in decades. "The data is clear," said Councillor Zim, his eye stalk steady as he addressed the assembly. "The void blight has receded in all 17 affected systems. Contamination levels are down by 93%. Murmurs filled the chamber. Many councillors looked at the human team with a mixture of respect and unease. "This was not the expected outcome," admitted Councillor Vith. His blue skin had a more purple tone than usual, which humans had learned indicated stress. "Our projections suggested the blight would continue to spread for at least 50 years, even with intervention. The human solution worked better than our most optimistic projections," added General Mu. "However, their methods were highly irregular and dangerous." Tae-ho stepped forward. "The Council has had our complete data for weeks now. Was there anything in our calculations that proved incorrect? Any danger we did not account for?" The councillors looked at each other. Finally, Councillor Zim spoke. "No, your team's work was thorough. The solar flare was precisely controlled. The biological agent targeted only the blight. The star system suffered minimal disruption. Then why are we here?" asked Soo-jin. "If our mission was successful, why have we been confined to Earth's embassy for 3 weeks?" General Mu stood tall, her insect-like form imposing. "Because you violated council authority. You acted without approval. This cannot be allowed, regardless of the outcome." Do-hyun stepped forward. "With respect, General, what was the alternative? Wait 300 years while millions died, including many of our own people." The chamber grew quiet. Many of the younger species representatives nodded in agreement. "There is another matter," said a small, rarely seen counselor from the back of the chamber. The ancient Sith rarely spoke at meetings. "We have reviewed the humans' planning documentation in detail. What we found was surprising. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing pages of calculations, risk assessments, and contingency plans created by Taiho's team. The humans did not act rashly," continued the Sith counselor. "They built 14 separate failsafes into their plan. They calculated risks with precision we wouldn't have expected from such a young species. Their solution appeared chaotic to us because it was fast, not because it was reckless." Taiho exchanged surprised glances with his team. They had not expected anyone to review their work so thoroughly. "This doesn't change the fact that they disobeyed council directives," insisted Counselor Vith. "If we allow this once, what will happen next time humans decide to handle something?" "Perhaps," said Counselor Zim slowly, "we should ask ourselves why they felt they needed to act alone. Our 300-year plan may have seemed reasonable to us, but to a species with their lifespan, it was a death sentence for their colonies," finished the Sith counselor. "We failed to consider that." Sumai stepped forward. "We didn't want to go against the council. We tried for months to work within your system, but when faced with the choice between following rules and saving lives, we chose lives." The council chamber erupted in debates. Some counselors demanded punishment for the humans, while others argued for commendation. The discussion continued for hours, with Taiho's team standing quietly, awaiting their fate. Finally, a vote was called. The results appeared on the main screen. Resolution 7B42. The human intervention regarding the Void Blight is recognized as necessary and successful. No sanctions will be imposed on Earth or the involved individuals. The vote had passed by a small margin. Taiho felt relief wash over him. They had taken an enormous risk, but it had paid off. Not just in stopping the Blight, but in changing how the Council saw humans. "There is one more item," said Counselor Zim. "A new proposal has been submitted for consideration." The screen changed to show the title, "The Human Consultation Initiative." 3 months after the Void Blight crisis, the Galactic Council looked very different. A new section had been added to the main chamber, the Human Consultation Area. Today, it was busy with activity. Taiho walked into the chamber, nodding to various alien representatives who greeted him with newfound respect. Su Jin and Sumai were already there, surrounded by holographic displays of a strange energy pattern. "What's the crisis today?" asked Taiho, joining his team. "Dimensional rifts near the Andromeda border," said Su Jin. "They're small now, but growing. The Council's standard approach would take decades to study them before acting. But they asked for us directly this time," said Sumai with a smile. "No need to say we'll handle it when they're inviting us to handle it." The Human Consultation Initiative had changed everything. Under the new protocol, when the Council faced emergencies or deadlocked on solutions, they could formally invite humans to propose rapid interventions. The humans would be given resources and authority to act, but within agreed parameters. Ambassador Kim called Counselor Zim, approaching their area. "Thank you for coming so quickly. These rifts have our scientists puzzled." "Dr. Han has already identified some patterns," said Taiho. "We'll need more data, but we think we can develop a containment field." "How quickly?" asked the counselor. 2 weeks for a prototype, maybe a month for full deployment." Zim's eye stalks trembled with what humans now recognized as relief. The Council estimated 15 years of study before any action could be taken. "Your speed continues to impress us." Across the chamber, Du Hyun was working with a group of younger aliens from various species. They called themselves the Rapid Response Team, a new cross-species group learning the human approach to problem-solving. "The key is not to abandon caution," Du Hyun explained to them. "It's to calculate acceptable risks and build in fail-safes. Humans don't just rush in. We plan quickly but thoroughly." One of the alien students, a young blue-skinned Vith, raised a hand. But how do you know when to follow procedures and when to create new ones? Good question, said Du Hyun. When the cost of waiting is greater than the risk of acting, that's when you consider alternatives. The phrase, "fine, I'll handle it," had taken on new meaning in galactic culture. Once feared as a warning sign of human chaos, it was now understood as a commitment to solving problems when others couldn't or wouldn't. Some younger aliens had even started using it themselves when taking initiative. In the Council's main session, Counselor Vith was speaking. The Human Consultation Initiative has resolved 7 major crises in 3 months. While I was skeptical at first, I must acknowledge the results. General Nu nodded her insect-like head. Their methods still make me nervous, but they've proven themselves reasonable partners. The new oversight protocols ensure safety while allowing for their creative approaches. A new saying had spread through the council. When all options are exhausted, ask the humans what they would do if they were going to handle it themselves, then brace for impact. After the session ended, Taeho found himself looking out a viewport at the stars. Counselor Zim joined him. "A year ago, I would have considered humans dangerous," said the counselor. "Now I see your species brings something valuable to our galactic community, urgency balanced with innovation." "We're just younger," said Taeho. "When you've lived for thousands of years, perhaps a century seems like a short time to solve a problem. For us, it's longer than a lifetime." "A perspective we needed," admitted Zim. "Oh, there's something else you should know. The Council has received reports of strange energy signatures beyond the rim, possibly a new form of space-time disruption. The Science Division is quite concerned." Taeho smiled. "Let me guess. You'd like us to look into it." "Actually," said Zim, "we thought we might work together from the start this time. Your speed, our experience. A true partnership." "I'd like that," said Taeho, extending his hand in the human gesture of agreement. Zim reached out his 3-fingered hand to shake. "So would I. No need for anyone to handle it alone when we can handle it together."